Hello, 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 hello.
स्टार्ट करें भैया? हम्म हम्म तो वहाँ अच्छा ठीक है. Hi, welcome to the webinar on e-commerce in India. Before we will discuss on the scope and opportunities in e-commerce, let's begin with understanding what exactly it is all about and why so much of it is being talked. If you look at these figures which are displayed on the screen, it clearly shows that the penetration of internet in India has been very thick, and at the same time it has been ever increasing. It's growing in a phenomenal rate, and it also depicts that there is a huge demand of internet growth in India, wherein a lot of users are trying to access various services through internet. Almost 462 million users are there in India currently, and this growth is going to be almost quadrupled in coming years. 60% contribution increase has been from the rural segment. So this defines that yes, there is a scope of accessing products and services through online, which actually has given a pave and a strength to e-commerce industry. So what is exactly e-commerce? Well, till recently, the internet was primarily used as a means of accessing and broadcast information. As a business became more complex and global, and a need was felt for bigger, faster, and convenient access to consumers spread across the world. Electronic commerce, commonly known as e-commerce, came into picture. It combines business and electronic infrastructures, allowing traditional business transactions to be conducted electronically. In short, if you are doing a buying or a selling online, that will be called as e-commerce. And this has been obviously possible because of the telecommunication and the various technologies that have been developed to support this industry. In the last 20 years, e-commerce has entirely revolutionized retail. The evolution of e-commerce is very interesting. because we started somewhere around 1995, where Jeff Bezos shipped Amazon's first ever online book, and then the e-commerce never looked back. If you look at this segment, it clearly shows how rapidly we have been evolving as an e-commerce industry. Since 1994, when eBay came into existence, from 1997 to 2002, there was an immense dot-com bubble, which exploded, and more users got the benefit of doing online transactions. With the coming or commencement of Amazon and Facebook as one of the primary e-commerce industries and the platforms, people did not look back at all. We were hooked on to Facebook, we were hooked on to Amazon in a major way for doing online transactions. And since 2010, it has been a rapid, ever increasing growth with many companies, small and big, going online and supporting the e-commerce industry. E-commerce has been established based on various models, not only supported by tools and technology, but there are various kinds of e-commerce which are termed as model, which have been created and implemented to support the requirement and demand of customers and business. Some of them are commonly depicted on the screen. We will go through one by one to understand how exactly they are utilized. For example, we have B2B, which is called business to consumer, B2E, business to employee, C2B, consumer to business, and C2C, consumer to consumer. All these models have been created, implemented, and utilized in developing e-commerce websites and portals for supporting customers and business together. Let's look at the definition or an overview of B2B model. This model describes commerce transactions between businesses, such as between a manufacturer and a wholesaler. It ideally means that if two business units are doing online transactions together, this will be termed as a B2B model. And Dell has been one of the classic example which utilizes B2B model to do their transactions online, and not only to reach out to the customers but to the different business units for conducting their own business. B2C, which is also commonly known as business to consumer model, involve transactions between business organizations and consumers. It applies to any business organization that sells its products or service directly to the consumer over the internet. These sites display product information as an online catalog and store it in a database. The B2C model also includes service online banking, travel services, and health information. Examples like Flipkart and Myntra are commonly known today, which we heavily utilize or we utilize time to time to do our transactions. Consumer to business is not similar to business to consumer. It is a bit different in the way it works. It involves transaction that is conducted between a consumer and a business organization. It is similar to B2C model. However, the difference is that in this case, the consumer is the seller and the business organization is the buyer. In this kind of a transaction, the consumer decides the price of a particular product rather than the supplier. This category includes individuals who sell products and services directly to the organizations. So for example, Monster.com and Naukri.com utilizes C2B model to conduct their business. Consumer to consumer is a very interesting model, and it's being developed very rapidly and various level to do business. It involves transactions directly between consumers. Here a consumer directly sells to another consumer. eBay, OLX, and your Quicker.com are common examples of online auction websites that provide a consumer to advertise and sell their products online to another consumer. While the seller needs to pay a fixed fee to online auction house to sell their products, the buyer can bid without paying any fee. The site brings the buyer and seller together to conduct deals. Besides these models, there are various other models which are rapidly being developed and implemented. For example, we have government to government model, we have government to consumer model, we have business to employee model. Business to employee model enables a business unit or an organization or a company to develop an online transaction which is only meant for the employee's purpose. It does not involve a consumer or customer which is not a part or who is not part of the organization. That means if you're an employee, you would be able to go on to those websites and search for deals that a company is offering. Some of the common services that are provided in business to employee model are your medical insurance, your transportation services policies, and various other services which are helpful for the employee benefits. With the e-commerce ecosystem, it has developed very, very rapidly and it has expanded on a lot of areas. The ecosystem enables one business to get established on a particular domain. If you look at this slide, you will see that online travel, ticketing, etc. have been rapidly increasing. More and more consumers are doing online transactions to book their tickets. And hence, your travel and hospitality industry is utilizing e-commerce in a major way in today's time. Online retail is another segment in which the e-commerce ecosystem has been developed, established, implemented, and is ever growing. All the retail products or the services are sold through online route with the online retail. Online retail is also known as e-tailing. There are a lot of online marketplaces which have been established like Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal. They're all online marketplaces where you can buy and sell products or transact. Online deals, sites which provide you a lot of coupons, lot of online gifts, lot of services which can be considered as a bonus are getting established. For example, Groupon is one of the online deal company or an e-commerce website which helps you to purchase deals online and redeem points which you may have gathered by utilizing those services. Online portals classified is also another segment in which ecosystem of e-commerce has been building up. It includes car, job, property, and matrimonial portals. Beside these ecosystems, banking and finance is another ecosystem on which e-commerce has been developing very rapidly and has strengthened in over the years. Most of the consumers or customers today prefer online banking like NEFT transaction or RTGS, checking balance, checking your statement online, which has only been possible when the e-commerce component, technology and the tool free to develop and access internet market and Indian market. It is expected that India's demographic dividend would lead to over 300 million new online shoppers in the next 15 years, making e-tailing the largest online segment. India will have the second largest digital population in the world with 1 billion users by 2030, powered by online mobile penetration. It also means that as we proceed with more and more accessibility of internet over mobile, that means through smartphones, the penetration and the growth of the users will increase and the e-commerce will also benefit from this. The most important socio-economic and socio-cultural trend which is emerging is the capacity of the middle class to purchase. The capacity of the middle class to contribute to the growth of the e-commerce industry as more and more population which belong to the middle segment are conducting business or purchasing online. If you look at the graph, it clearly shows that the India population is a young population and hence it is going to add up to the growth of e-commerce. Facebook users have been mostly youngsters, and online marketing utilizing Facebook for the benefit of e-commerce has been one of the established marketing strategy in today's time. There has been a lot of trend that has happened because of future shopping, and as you can see, e-commerce has started integrating to the various aspects of the industry. Not only we are able to provide online transactions to retail companies, but even specialized engineering services, they are using e-commerce for. The time will come when none of the company would be able to function without a component of e-commerce in their business strategy or as a marketing strategy. They will have to have an e-commerce website or a portal to reach out to the customers or to make their product and services available to the customers through e-commerce medium. Overview of the e-commerce industry has been very interesting, and in fact the figures are mind-boggling. Today, the total market size of the e-commerce across the globe is over 1 trillion and it is predicted to grow at 17% per year. What is interesting is the Indian e-commerce market is also seeing a phenomenal growth both in e-commerce as well as e-tailing, which is retailing online. And it is expected that e-commerce market would touch around 100 billion by 2020. And as you can see, the graph details out the possibility or the percentage of e-commerce and e-tail during the onset of years which are coming from 2016 to 2020. On the other hand, online retail market size is also showing a growth of 50 to 55% CAGR, which is cumulative growth for the next 3 years, which is an interesting figure because none of the industry is growing so rapidly as the e-commerce is. Interestingly, in India, the e-commerce segment is primarily divided into 6 major sectors. Traveling and ticketing is the basic one where e-commerce is being utilized, and it has the maximum market share today. Clear Trip, Make My Trip, Yatra, Trifolia, these are all examples of e-commerce website or portals which are specifically built for traveling and ticketing. Retail and marketplace is the second largest market share for e-commerce India. Shopperstop, Flipkart, Snapdeal, Big Basket, Amazon, they are all major players and they are developing at a rapid pace with more and more companies joining with the retail and for the retail segment. Deals, obviously, as we have earlier discussed, that online deals, coupons as a service to the consumer is also catching on. And most of the companies are looking or establishing their e-commerce platform on the deal segment. Some of the examples are Groupon and Cash Karo. Education is also joining hands in the e-commerce industry to reach out to the student base or to a segment which is willing to take courses online. Education in coming time is going to have an immense opportunity as an online education. More and more people would try to get their education online sitting at their home at their convenience. And hence, the scope of e-commerce into the education segment will also rapidly grow. Classified portals is another segment which India contributes to. Just like Shadi.com and Naukri.com, these are all portals which do classified ads, and online classified ads are catching up as one of the primary source to reach to the customers. Hyperlocals are nothing but small market areas which are created in order to reach to the customers for services and products. They function like a small retail stores. For example, Grofers, Pepper Tap, Swiggy, these are all small retail stores which are utilizing e-commerce to provide product and services. The retail industry, uh, as we have discussed, is showing immense scope, and this gives us a breakup of the retail industry, e-commerce retail industry, and the contribution of the various small sectors to the entire retail. If we look at the online retail market, the maximum segment on the online retail market has been captured by electronics with a 34%, baby products at 2%, apparels and accessories are almost similar to electronics with 30%, and I think that in coming 2 years, apparels and accessories may also beat electronics and goods as their percentage in the market segment. Home and furnishing is also utilizing around 6%, beauty and personal 10%, and books 15%. As per CRISIL research report, e-commerce in India is estimated to grow at 50 to 55% annually for next 3 years and is touted to become a 50,000 crore industry by 2016. And as you can see, according to the Morgan Stanley report, the market share of Indian e-commerce, 51% is captured electronic and appliance together. In earlier slide, we only saw the electronics, but here the appliances has also been added up, and hence it is giving a 51%, fashion 30%, books 15 to 7%, and 12% are others. But what is interesting is that Flipkart, Snapdeal, Amazon has captured the entire market. And in fact, this also strengthens the capacity of e-commerce to reach to the customers. And it also gives confidence to other businesses who are planning e-commerce as a portal or a website to be launched in the retail segment. Due to immense growth in e-commerce sector, there is going to be a huge demand for e-commerce professionals. And as per the previous slides, if you have reflected upon, we are seeing a consistent growth in the e-commerce sector in the coming years. And as we see that there would be a 50 to 55% with a 50,000 crore as a revenue into the market, the demand for e-commerce professionals are bound to be expected to grow, and it will grow. So hiring activities are expected to grow by over 30% in this sector, and it may help create up to 50,000 employment opportunity in just next to 2 to 3 years. That means there would be an immense opportunity for jobs and entrepreneurship in these e-commerce sectors and the various sectors that we have looked upon, and there would be a lot of demand specifically for people for the skill set which is specifically built up for e-commerce. The industry would be looking for professionals who understand not only marketing, the traditional marketing, but they also understand the e-commerce as a technology, e-commerce as a platform, and e-commerce also as a marketing strategy to reach out to their consumers and professionals. And to keep that in mind and to carry it further, UPS has launched a BBA program on e-commerce, and from 2016 it is going to be launched, and it is being already uh, provided as one of the options for the BBA. The program would enable the students to understand the business and e-commerce sector in depth. The curriculum would facilitate the students to establish themselves as entrepreneur in e-commerce along with the job opportunities. The curriculum has been developed in such a way that if somebody wants to open up their own e-portal or an e-website or an e-commerce business, they would be able to do that. The entire curriculum is built in such a way in order to cater to the industry requirement for the skill sets which the industry is expecting an e-commerce professional should have. And hence, to support those skill sets, the curriculum would expose students to e-commerce, e-business applications, legal aspects of your e-commerce, search engine optimization, search engine management, social and web analytics. As a career option, not only you can look yourself as an entrepreneur, but you can become an e-commerce consultant in the coming years. E-commerce marketing manager is one of the another avenue where you can contribute. Advertising and promotion managers, online marketing, website manager, website coordinator, online business development manager. Besides this, the course grid of BBA e-commerce marketing enables the fundamentals of the management as their subjects, which includes your HR, finance, marketing, logistics and supply chain, which are very, very essential for a student or a person to understand the business as such. Unless and until we understand the core topics of HR, finance, marketing, supply chain management, or logistics, we cannot contribute to the e-commerce. So, beside those subjects, the e-commerce will take you to further, uh, you know, further delving into topics like e-business and e-commerce, social media marketing, SEO, business intelligence, and web analytics. Thank you for the webinar, listening to it. And if you have any questions, I'm available to answer it. There is a question which has been raised by Bharat Krishna. How will be career in abroad after studying this course? Bharat, definitely the career abroad would be fruitful for you because e-commerce is not only an industry and established phenomenon in India, but world is utilizing e-commerce. So if you do this course or if you delve into the study of e-commerce, obviously there would be a lot of avenues abroad also for you, either to become an entrepreneur or to take up a job or an assignment or a consultancy as a career option. There are no more questions, it seems. And Bharat has asked again another question. I want to be an entrepreneur. How this program will help me to become a successful entrepreneur? Yes, BBA in e-commerce would help you to become not only an entrepreneur but an entrepreneur also, and even an ideapreneur if you are willing to, because the entire course grid is developed in such a way that not only you expose yourself to the nitty-gritties of the business and the functioning of the business, but also in understanding that how the e-commerce is done, how it is implemented, what are the technologies that enable e-commerce to function, and how do you integrate those technologies. At the same time, we have a subject on entrepreneurship also integrated with the BBA curriculum and the course grid, which helps you to understand that in case you want to open up your own e-commerce website or a portal, how you will do it. And that definitely will pave a way in moving forward with the e-commerce and establishing yourself as an entrepreneur in the industry. Besides this, we have been, talking about e-commerce all the time. But we also need to realize that unless and until we understand the business aspects and the components that are there, we would not be able to judicially integrate e-commerce within the entire traditional business. And hence, it becomes important for one person to understand the core of the business first and then integrate it with the e-commerce, which this BBA curriculum will do. At the same time, we are looking at industry which is definitely going to increase, and there are going to be immense opportunity not only for students for further future studies, but also establishing themselves as entrepreneur for job and for career opportunities. There is another question which has come up regarding the salary range after completing this course and who are the top recruiters. Yes, the salary range varies somewhere from 10,000 to 20,000 to be for the freshers, and there is no limitation or a capping for the e-commerce professionals who have working experience on the same field. At the same time, once you get into the placement season, there are a lot of companies who are recruiting. Flipkart is one of the major uh, recruiters. Then you have Snapdeals, you have Amazon coming in, and there are a lot of companies also coming in who have a e-commerce as their segment, as their side segment for supporting their core business, like Blue Dot, DHL, the logistics company, the engineering companies. There are a lot of other specialized companies who are looking into the e-commerce and they want to establish them as an e-commerce business. They are also looking for students. They are also looking for people for the recruitments. Thank you so much for joining and hope to see you pursuing BBA e-commerce as a option. Thank you.